Just imagine walking into a room and everybody is smiling, walking up to you, waving at you because they already know your story, they already know your expertise, they already know the impact you've made because they have read your book. Oh my gosh. My name is Chisom Mutebeaka. If today is your first time watching me, welcome. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can turn your boardroom activities and lessons into a best-selling book that will position you as a thought leader in your industry and much more, help you build a lasting legacy. You heard right. Now, executives like you every day solve problems, train teams, bootstrap strategies, and transform a lot of industries. Sometimes you have worked in banking, in finance, in manufacturing, in NGO, and all of that expertise, you have it under your belt, but only you know about it, only you have the certification, only you have the knowledge. Do you know that these same experiences you had can translate into a book that will make you top of mind in your industry, solving industry problems, and much more impact the industry that you work in and people's lives? When we talk about industry, we're talking about actual people, right? And that is one way you don't also waste years, in that sense that you have spent working, sacrificing, waking up early, going for them meetings, traveling, sometimes sacrificing your family time to make things work. And in this video, I'm going to take it step by step on how you can transform all of these years and decades working 9-to-5 jobs, leading teams into something profitable that will skyrocket your industry and much more. Place you at a point where your exit or your retirement will be worthwhile. So all of the insights you have been sharing in boardrooms, making presentations, closing the deals, imagine if they were all captured. But right now, I'm going to help you in this video know how to capture them into a captivating book that will be sought after internationally. We're going to do it in 3 steps. Number 1, you should get ready and you should bring something to write also, because we are going on a cool ride. Now, number 1, the first thing to do, if this is something you're interested in already, is first of all, identify your unique story. The story that nobody else has. I mean, other people are, in positions like yours, are also in industries like yours, but nobody has quite gone through all of the hassles you went through, climbing up the ladder, all of the assessment you have gone through, all of the harassment you've gone through, all of the bullying and workplace politics you've been through. Nobody have gone through it like you have. Everybody has their unique experiences, and those stories are the thing that will first of all introduce you into your industry and should make the first part of your book. So identifying your unique story is very, very key. I'm going to give you details later, but let me mention the 3 aspects. After you identify your story, the next thing now, how to structure your content in a way that people will read it and it will be impactful, is actionable, is unforgettable, is compelling. Structuring your content for your book is the next stage after identifying your unique story. Okay, number 3, marketing that book. Marketing that book to be a must read for everyone in your industry and beyond is another thing you can carefully do. And of course, I'm going to break it down. Let's go right there. Let's start from number 1. In trying to identify your unique story and all that you've been through, the first question you should ask yourself to be able to develop this story is, what are the unique challenges I've gone through working all of these years that another person will benefit from? Now, I have a case study for my sister, for instance. Now, this is somebody very close to me where she went through a whole lot of office politics and bullying. Even though she had left that industry and that job, it had a lot of impact mentally on her and all of that. And there is no better person to tell her story. Yes, a lot of people are going through it, but who will emancipate them? Telling that kind of story from the standpoint of empowering people, letting them know what to do, is going to be a corporate sellout. Trust me. Now, what next do you do after asking yourself, what have I gone through that another person can benefit from? 2, what are the strategies that I have developed to cope with these challenges that will be a beacon of light for somebody else going through it? Yeah, so it might not just be in industry, it might just be closing deal, it might just be meeting your target, it might be in leading teams, managing people, whatever it is. Ask yourself, what are those strategies I have developed that has been helping me climb now, making me sought after, that another person coming below the ladder is going to gain from. Now, three, you ask yourself, what is my leadership philosophy? How do I act and behave? And what do I insist on that has made me a delight as a leader? That philosophy is something you need to document. And please don't go anywhere, because at the end of this video, I'm also going to give you a guide you can download even right now. You can download in the comment section, pin comment, and also in my description on how to actually get to work with developing your own book. Okay, so don't go anywhere. Now, the next thing we're going to look at now, I'll give you three questions to answer that will help you develop your unique story. Now, your unique story might also even be something like you used to be a stay-at-home mom before you got into corporate work, and how you have juggled corporate work with being a mom and a wife, or all of that. How you are able to combine all of those timing to help you climb the ladder in a unique way. I mean, there are certain things that you're different about. That's what we're talking about right here. Okay, you might also be that executive who traveling has made to be more exposed than other people who may still be in those kind of positions in other organizations, and you can bring that uniqueness into why your book is important for anybody to read. You must remember that people who are going to read you are not just looking for another theory to apply or to try to make something up. They are looking for real world experiences, practical things that worked for you, that they can actually do same and get the same result in your unique way, right? So people are looking for real world experiences or real world solutions, and that's what your book should focus on, right? That's why I said, think about the challenges you've been through, think about the strategies you use to navigate them, and then also think of your leadership style and philosophies that has worked for you. All right. Now, in this next stage, we're going to look at how to structure your book. In this section, we're going to look at how do you segment your book in a way that is so impactful, people will not want to drop it, and it's interesting to navigate and read. That's what we're going to do in this second part, structuring the content of your book. So there are three parts I'm going to recommend, because this book is going to be non-fiction. That means it's real. It is also going to be for people in the corporate circle or anybody building a business or working with people. So the good structure would be to start with an introduction. Now, this introduction will capture your unique story and all of that. So that will introduce the reader to who you are and what you have succeeded in doing in the corporate that made you decide to write the book. Right? Now, that's section 1 of your book. The second section of your book, which of course is going to have the major content, will be what I call maybe lessons from the boardroom. Now, these lessons from the boardroom will incorporate strategies and lessons, and of course case studies of different things that have happened while you have been working in different organizations and how you tackle them exactly. So you take one case study, you narrate what happened, and then you mention the strategy you used to solve them at all, to climb them or to succeed at them, to go to the next stage. You'll be able to identify at this stage different case studies. For instance, if you are somebody who maybe you were part of a team that revived the manufacturing company that was dying, then you were able to come up with marketing strategies and sales and bring in investment to be able to make it succeed. More like the third element of the story, right? You can start your introduction talking about what you're doing and all of that. Then you can also, one of your case studies will be how you came about identifying people who can help rescue this manufacturing company, for instance. Another case study may be how you were able to raise money to be able to salvage that organization. Another one might be how you were able to identify the right teams. You know what I mean? So you can look at different case studies of things that are iconic you have done in the industry that will help develop those sections of the book one after the other. Remember, I said this is part 2, but it has the bulk of the content. Now let's look at the third part of the book. The third part in the structure, it should be practical things that people can now apply. They have looked at the strategies from your case studies. They have seen the introduction and things you've done. Now at this part of the book, you can now dovetail some of the practical things that they need to do depending on their industry that will get them the right result based on what you have done and what you have succeeded at doing. So practical takeaways will make the next part. Now, as you're listening to me, you can already tell that in the beginning of introduction, could just be the introductory part of the chapter one. Then the case studies and strategies part, which is the lessons that you've learned from the boardroom, managing people, training, all of that, closing deals, traveling, could make the bulk of the other chapters, which might be chapter 2, 3, 4, up to 10 or 12 or 13, depending on how many case studies you identify. You can actually decide to make it a case study per chapter. Yeah, that way it's easier. Case study and strategy. So it gives you time to explain and expound on those chapters. Afterward, the closing chapters can now be the practical takeaways from each of these strategies and what you've learned, and that people can easily apply. Right? For instance, you say, when you're starting an organization or as a large organization, when costs are becoming expensive, maybe cost of raw materials are becoming expensive, you might need to lay off this level of people or this kind of staff to be able to stay afloat, and using practical things that you did or you suggested to your organization to do. For instance, right now, this is very, very, very important. For each of these case studies and chapters, you could, maybe if you are in fintech, for instance, you can have a chapter which is part of your case studies on how to leverage mobile money technology to expand your business. You know what I mean? So you can now use the example of how you guys leverage on mobile money in communities, the kind of communities you guys had to use, how you were able to identify the people who were unbankable, who were, that kind of thing. So the strategy that you guys employ to expand your market base using mobile money can be a chapter, and like that. You can also look at how you were able to communicate and beat the competition on social media marketing for your fintech. That can be another chapter, those kind of things. And you must share real life stories. For instance, how M-Pesa revolutionized, technology and money in Kenya. How Flutterwave, for instance, is championing African payment online systems, and all. It depends on your industry now. So I'm just giving you examples that you can use to make case studies out of strategies of how you worked to flesh out each of your chapters. When it comes to the section for practical strategies or practical takeaways, people want to know exactly what you did and what they can apply to do. So, for instance, in that part, you can look at, maybe, for instance, if there's a chapter called maybe leadership, you can set up or talk about the fact that how you guys were able to identify certain kind of talents from certain regions or whatever to be able to bootstrap your business at a particular time, maybe post-COVID, that you were able to train and they became very high performing. So that way you'll be pointing people to look at certain kind of staff or talents that they may not be naturally looking at, right? People that may be low cost but will be very excited to do the job after being trained, that people may not be looking at, so they can save money and still get the output that they need. For instance, if that's something that happened with you or something you are sure about, you can use those kind of things as practical takeaways. You can also come about maybe how you guys were able to create an ownership mindset among your staff at a point, either how people will get commissions based on doing extra work, or how people got commissions that profited the company in a way that everybody involved got a profit sharing out of something. You know what I mean? And how that motivated staff to work their best, put in more hours, and how your output increased. Stuff like that. If something that you have had to handle, let that be part of your actionable practical takeaways. It can also be a type of training that you do to bring out the best in new recruits that will skyrocket performance and all that, and how you guys did it, and what percentage did you guys increase in output, how that worked. Actionable thing that people can say, oh my God, we're going to do this immediately. This structure I'm giving you is very important, or is very credible and works all the time, because number one, people will be able to trust you. You're using things that have happened to you. You're not reading from books or from movies or AI. No, you're using actual things that happen to you. So you're building credibility. That's the only way you can walk into a room and everybody's like, oh my God, that's the CEO of XYZ, because they've already read your book. They've already seen the things you've handled. It's documented, right? Your books have walked into rooms and communities and roads that you may not ever visit, right? Now, also, this structure also help you to have a coherence. That way it's easy for you. You're not mixing up things. So everything is stated, on their own, and you are able to manage the content. Also, it's full of your story, like I said. So people are already drawn to you. It's emotional. They can connect with all what you've been through, and they can walk away with the strategies feeling like they know you better, and you're mentoring them, even though you may not even know them. Yeah, so this is a good structure for you. There's a book called African Business Revolution, written by three authors, Achaleke and two other people, I can't remember now. The structure of that book is amazing. You can look it up and get it and look at that structure. It will help you to also fine tune what I'm saying. But of course, remember, I have a guide for you. You can download it right now just before you exit this video and go use that to implement your own book. Now, let's go to the next part, which is marketing your book. You are an executive, you're a CEO, so you can't just do a book that is mediocre. At the beginning of the writing of your book, you need to tell the story of why you're writing your book. You need to share your story about what is happening behind the scene, how you're working with people, how you're working with editors, how your covers are being discovered, with the concept behind your book cover. All of those stories are very important, and they all add up to the anticipation for your book in your industry. See, marketing is where the real game is, because most of the time, where I need to emphasize this is that a lot of people whose products may not be excellent or top par are always the people that spend so much on marketing and get a lot of eyeballs and a lot of patronage to their work. But most people who do a good job almost think somewhere in their mind that because it's a good job, it's going to announce to people in their dreams to buy them. But it doesn't work like that. As an executive, you need to pull all your network, online and offline, to make sure that your book succeeds and for a long time. And I know what I'm saying. And the best part to do it is as you begin writing. Don't let your book be something that you finish, print, and then you start saying, I have a book, I have a book. No, let people go through the emotional journey with you, anticipate, pay for the book ahead of time, and then get it. And then you keep marketing it and touring with it. Because see, this book you're writing is not just another product. It's a tool for you to leverage to get even better at your work, to get better opportunities at your work, to get speaking engagement, to make extra income, to expand the scope of your leadership. So where you're going to share these things on, of course, your social media, use platforms like LinkedIn, like YouTube here, to begin to share the story of the journey of your book. Also remember that in the journey of your book, part of the marketing is that you make sure that you use professionals to write, to edit your work, to write if you need to. You can get a ghostwriter, book cover designer, professional printers, publishers, all of the spectrum. Work with the best people to give the book a good touch, so that when it's out, people know that it's written by executive. What else do you expect? You know what I mean? Okay. Now that's part of the marketing, because people will want to look at it and feel like, oh my God, this is all worth it. At the end, this is all worth it, and they want to read it, and they want to recommend it, and they want to use it for training. They want to recommend it for their team. See, this is the best time, the best year to do exactly what you're hearing about in this video. If you're executive, top level executive, CEO, leader of any sort, or anybody who has a lot of content and you know that people are looking up to you. Now, as an executive, you have such a wealth of experience. You've been through a lot. Even if you say so yourself, you've been through a lot, and they have shaped you into who you have become. They have also become your bragging place. They have solidified your values, made you who you have become. Those same values you can transfer to the next generation, to other people coming at par. And I know that sometimes time is not your best friend. And that's why I would say, if you want to start out immediately, please make sure you download the guide right now. But of course, if you're thinking, oh my God, where will I have the time to write this? Make sure you reach out to us in the email address below, because we can help you handle all of this. You don't need to write a thing, but your content 100%. You're going to have your book written, edited, proofread, marketed, distributed, all that, if you contact us now, because that's exactly what we do at Logos Audibles, the company where I work, and I look forward to welcoming you. If you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe button, like this video, share it with somebody who is an executive like you, and I will see you again pretty soon here on this channel. So let's keep building, let's keep working, let's keep inspiring our generation, one executive after the other.